You deserve to be punished. Don't you, Mr. Potter?
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at evil deeds that demonstrated how far movie villains were willing to go to get what they want or assert their authority. You know what would be truly evil? Not giving you a spoiler alert.
Danny, whatever you're thinking about doing, please don't do it.
Number 10, Smeagol becomes Gollum. The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. Smeagol's origins were going to be depicted in The Two Towers, but the filmmakers saved this for the opening of Return of the King.
Because it's my birthday and I want it.
It was a wise decision, as we initially come to like and sympathize with Gollum, even as something darker is lurking underneath. Once we see the extent of Gollum's wickedness though, he transforms from comedic relief to stealth villain. It was Smeagol's cousin, Deagol, who first stumbled upon the One Ring. Within seconds of laying eyes on the Precious, Smeagol is ready to resort to murder, only growing more possessed over time. Echoes of Smeagol may remain in Gollum, but if the former Hobbit was willing to choke the life out of his cousin, Frodo stands little chance of redeeming him. Number 9, Alonzo Harris commits justifiable homicide, Training Day. Welcoming Jake Hoyt into the LAPD, Detective Alonzo Harris establishes early on that he's not one to do things by the book.
To be truly effective, a good narcotics agent must know and love narcotics. In fact, a good narcotics agent should have narcotics in his blood.
What, are you gonna smoke that?
Nope, you are.
If anything, he's more dangerous than any common criminal. Between forcing Jake to try drugs and stealing money from dealers, Alonzo crosses more than a few lines. It isn't until Alonzo tells Jake to tie up a loose end that we fully understand how corrupt this cop is.
Shoot him.
No, man.
Youngsters these days, huh? You're not gonna shoot him?
Jake assumes Alonzo is joking when he asks him to shoot Roger, a former officer who now operates on the other side of the law. Alonzo lets the rookie know that he isn't goofing around, shooting Roger in cold blood. Alonzo makes it look justified, but Jake recognizes Roger's death for what it is: murder.
Congratulations, son. You're gonna get a Medal of Valor for this.
I didn't shoot him.
A room full of cops said you did.
But I didn't. You did.
Number 8, Percy Wetmore prepares the electric chair, The Green Mile. The audience immediately despises Percy Wetmore, a Weasley Nepo baby who wormed his way into a prison guard job.
We got a dead man walking here. Dead man walking. We got a dead man walking here.
Percy, it's enough.
Percy gets a kick out of tormenting the inmates and their animal friends, but he's at his most sadistic during an execution. To the other guards, the electric chair is the most difficult part of the job, even if the punishment matches the crime. To Percy, it's an amusing spectacle, but a standard execution isn't enough to satisfy him.
Seeing a man die, now that's not enough. You gotta be close enough to smell his nuts cook.
I just want to be out front is all. Come on. One time.
As death row inmate Dell is strapped in, Percy purposely neglects to soak the sponge that would have made his execution as humane as possible. Instead, Dell's last moments are long and ghastly, perhaps even more than Percy anticipated. Yet, he shows little remorse for his heinous action.
No! What do you mean, no? How can you say no? You saw what he did. Delacour's dead.
Number 7, HAL 9000 puts the mission first, 2001: A Space Odyssey. Discovery One's computer is hard to get a read on, a camera lens being the closest thing to a facial feature.
Good evening, Dave.
How you doing, Hal?
Everything's running smoothly, and you?
Oh, not too bad.
Have you been doing some more work?
A few sketches.
May I see them?
Sure.
Hal's calm voice might lure the crew into a sense of security, but actions speak louder than words. When Hal suspects that the crew is plotting against him, he emerges as the silent but deadly type. Not only does he send Frank spiraling into space, he removes the hibernating crew's life support, leaving only Dave alive. Hal's evil deeds are less about self-preservation and more about ensuring the mission's success. One could see this as a computer error, but it's truly a human error. After all, humankind designed Hal to put the mission first.
Hal, I won't argue with you anymore. Open the doors.
Dave, this conversation can serve no purpose anymore. Goodbye.
Al?
Nobody thought to ask, at what cost? Number 6, Nurse Ratched brushes off Billy's death, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. From the get-go, it's easy to despise Nurse Ratched with her cold demeanor and controlling grip on patients.
Stay back.
Huh? Patients aren't allowed in the nurse's station.
Well, I just wanted to turn...
When you're outside, we'll discuss whatever problem you have, okay?
At first, though, one could argue that Ratched has her patient's best interests at heart. That is, this is a mental hospital. It makes sense that she'd want to maintain a normal routine. Ratched is no expert on mental health, however. She pushes the vulnerable Billy to the edge upon threatening to inform his mother of his behavior.
You don't have to tell her, Miss Ratched.
I don't have to tell her. Your mother and I are old friends, you know that.
Unable to face the consequences, Billy only sees one way out. In the wake of Billy's death, Ratched doesn't acknowledge any fault on her part or express empathy.
Now calm down. The best thing we can do is go on with our daily routine. All right?
She merely insists that they carry on as usual, showing that she doesn't care about her patients. Ratched only cares about order. Number 5, Dolores Umbridge punishes Harry, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. During his early years at Hogwarts, Harry didn't think he could hate a professor more than Snape.
Mr. Potter, our new celebrity.
We didn't think anyone in the wizarding world could be more despicable than Voldemort. Enter Dolores Umbridge, who hides her malice nature behind an icy grin and enough pink attire to make our eyes bleed.
You will be learning about defensive spells in a secure, risk-free way.
Well, what use is that? If we're going to be attacked, it won't be risk-free.
Students will raise their hands when they speak in my class.
She isn't at Hogwarts to teach, but to repress the truth. Giving Harry detention for speaking out is more than enough to make us detest Umbridge. Once we see the cruel punishment she has in store for him, though, Umbridge goes from being the worst teacher ever to a straight-up tyrant.
I want you to write, I must not tell lies.
How many times?
Well, let's say for as long as it takes for the message to sink in.
Watching those 5 words materialize on Harry's skin, our blood begins to boil just thinking about Umbridge. Number 4, Annie Wilkes newspaper clippings. Misery. Slowly but surely, author Paul Sheldon realizes that he isn't in Annie Wilkes' care. He's her prisoner with seemingly no escape.
And don't even think about anybody coming for you. Not the doctors, not your agent, not your family, because I never called them. Nobody knows you're here.
When Paul is left alone one day, he does some digging to Annie's past. Stumbling upon a scrapbook, Paul finds that he wasn't the first person that Annie tormented. Death follows Annie everywhere she goes, with some of her victims being much younger than Paul. She was almost brought to justice, although there wasn't enough evidence to put her away. The fact that Annie keeps these articles as mementos is a testament to her depraved mind.
I know I left my scrapbook out. I can imagine what you might be thinking of me. But you see, Paul, it's all okay. Last night it came so clear. I realize you just need more time.
Paul already feared for his life, but after reading this, it becomes clear that Annie will never let him leave alive, or with the use of his legs. Number 3, Li Wu Jin reveals his master plan, Old Boy. Villains love to showcase how evil they are by explaining their plans to the protagonist. It's a classic trope, although Old Boy may contain the most diabolical example.
신기하죠. 자식인 동시에 조카를 임신한 소녀의 기분을 생각해봤어? 알겠어요?
Li Wu Jin imprisoned Oh Dae-soo for 15 years, which is only step 1 in his sadistic scheme. The villain blames Dae-soo for the death of his sister, with whom he had an inappropriate relationship. To even the score, Wu Jin manipulated Dae-soo into falling in love with a woman who turns out to be his now grown-up daughter. We get why Wu Jin would want revenge, and at least to an extent, he is a tragic villain. Even so, this has got to be the most messed up punishment imaginable, and only a truly warped mind would see it through. Number 2, Captain Vidal and the Farmers. Pan's Labyrinth. Young Ophelia is uneasy from the moment she meets her new stepfather, who's more intimidating than any monster from the fairy tale she reads.
Es la otra mano, Ophelia.
Captain Vidal is a ruthless phalangist, with even the simplest interrogations inclined to result in senseless murder. We're given our first taste of Vidal's bloodlust when he confronts a father and son who claim they were hunting rabbits.
Al detenido se le encontró este arma.
ha sido disparada.
Mi padre estaba cazando conejos. Que te calles, coño.
Without giving it a second thought, Vidal makes the father watch his son's face get bashed in before taking them both out. Upon further inspection, he finds that the innocent farmers were indeed hunting rabbits, which Vidal asks his housekeeper to prepare for dinner.
Mercedes, prepare estos conejos para la cena de hoy.
Son demasiado jóvenes, señor.
Bueno, a ver si dan para un caldo.
Sí, señor.
Even if he discovered the rabbits sooner, the farmers were likely dead the second Vidal laid eyes on them. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions, or dishonorable in the case of these vile characters. Biff Tannen in the back seat, Back to the Future. Biff at his most punchable.
You leave her alone.
All right, McFly. You're asking for it, and now you're gonna get it.
John Kreese tells Johnny to sweep the leg, the Karate Kid, a sensei who will do anything to win.
Sweep the leg. You have a problem with that?
No, Sensei.
No mercy.
Gaston stabs the Beast, Beauty and the Beast, when hunting officially becomes homicide. Harry and Marv pull a gun on Kevin, Home Alone 2 Lost in New York. Suddenly, booby traps seem like child's play.
I never made it to the 6th grade, kid. And it doesn't look like you're gonna either.
Terrence Fletcher throws the chair, whiplash. The ensuing tirade hurts more than the chair would have.
Why do you suppose I just hurled a chair at your head, Neiman?
I don't know.
Sure you do.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Amon Gut epitomizes Nazi evil. Schindler's List. Amon Gut's uniform alone tells us that he's evil, but that doesn't prepare us for how he makes an example out of Diana Reiter. A Polish engineer working at the Płaszcz concentration camp, Reiter informs Gut that a structure's foundation wasn't built properly.
Herr Kommandant, the entire foundation has to be torn down and repoured. If not, there will be at least a subsidence at the southern end of the barracks. Subsidence and then collapse.
Reiter doesn't undermine her captors. She's just stating facts. Gert responds by ordering that she be shot right then and there.
Shoot her.
Herr Kommandant, I'm only trying to do my job.
Yeah, I'm doing mine.
He has nothing to gain from Reiter's death. If anything, the construction will go more smoothly with Reiter alive. Gert even acknowledges this after Reiter's murder, telling the others to rebuild as she instructed.
Take it down, repour it, rebuild it, like she said.
Logic and compassion are lost on Gert. He only knows cruelty. This moment is all the more harrowing knowing that it was inspired by real-world evil. Which villainous moments left you speechless? Let us know in the comments.
My guess is you'll never hear from him again.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.